everyone. Welcome to another Jodi day. We're all excited for Jodi. I know we're in the middle of another very interesting trial. It'll be more interesting once we can hear it. But no matter what we are doing and where we are, at noon on Saturdays and Sundays, noon Eastern, I should say, we stop everything and we do Jodi. Welcome, Daisy. Farrell, Indigo, I see you guys all in the chat. We are dual streaming with Nick. He will be with us momentarily. Robbie Mill, welcome. I know, I think some of you said that the link didn't work. We're not sure what's up with StreamYard and YouTube today. However, I am seeing the chats come through right now on StreamYard, so that's good. Dave, your chat just came through. Welcome. And is it Little Peanut? I guess. Welcome. Yeah, so we have Jodi today. Today is day 13. The last witness we had was a stupid cat. The last witness we had, we only got through direct. So we're going to start with the cross-examination of this witness. And then today, day 13, is the day that Jodi takes the stand. We will see if we get to it or not, given the timing of everything. And just so everybody knows, Tuesdays tend to be the shorter days of our streams, and Saturdays tend to be the longer days. So we will see. I'm trying to multitask. I'm trying to pin a message at the top. There we go. Okay, so I got Farrell's stream pinned to the top. But Tuesdays tend to be our shorter days. Friday or Saturdays tend to be our longer days. So we'll see how far we get. And Nick is back. Squeaky chair and all, or did we fix that?
It seems like the squeak is between the hinges and the wood, not in the hinges. So now I'm in my lawn chair again.
I just want to take this moment, an opportunity to point out the elegant spelling skills of Lefty Laws here with nurse.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out to everybody. See how well Lefty spells?
Yeah. Yep. Amazing.
But StreamYard seems to be working actually right now, so that's good.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many actually went over in the redirect, because I didn't see that in
the chat saying they had to manually do it.
Okay. Yeah, because I had it done in the YouTube things, but it didn't do it. So there's some miscommunications between StreamYard and YouTube's.
Do you have your next stream up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to. I don't see it.
And I'm checking here.
I'll do it. I'll do it when we get going. I'll do it
Yeah.
when we get going. I want to make sure we set up the redirect so everyone goes back to Nick, his trial coverage. So, but I was just saying that we're going to start off with the cross-examination of the last witness that was on the stand. That's where we are, and we'll see how far we get through. I am putting it at 1.25 speed, so we can go through a little bit. And when we're in the middle of trials, I like to do that. I like to keep Tuesdays shorter, especially when we have trials going. And Saturdays tend to be our longer days. So there is an entire playlist, though, if you are new on my channel as well as Nick's, and we're dual streaming. So I pinned Nick's to the top of my chat, and you can jump over there. You won't miss anything. Give him a like and a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And anything else that you wanted to say, Nick, before we get going with Jodi, day 13? You're muted.
No, let's get going.
All right, very good.
Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
The defendant.
Have any of you seen any media coverage or heard any media coverage about this case? I see no hands. So Wilmot, you may continue. The court is sustaining the objection to exhibits 393 and 394.
Yes, Lonnie Dworkin.
And Mr. Dworkin, we left off with pictures that you already have up there on your desk, exhibits 393 and 394.
I apologize. They're still continuing with direct examination.
Okay.
So I thought they were done.
we were talking about a mirror image or a copy of a hard drive. Do you remember that?
If you can refresh my memory, I don't remember the exact context.
Okay, well, we were just talking about a mirror image and things that you pulled off of that mirror image.
From where these photos came from?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, and the mirror image was taken of a hard drive. Do you know who that hard drive belonged to?
According to the documentation that was provided along with the hard drive, attached to the hard drive, and notes I had received separately previously from the Mesa Police Department, it appeared to belong to Jodi Arias.
Okay, and those two pictures, exhibits 393 and 394, are those two pictures that came off of that mirror image of the hard drive?
Yes, I removed them from the, or I copied them off from the forensic copy, the mirror image.
All right. Okay, I want to talk to you, I want to move on a little bit and let's talk about a heliophone that you looked at.
Okay.
What is a heliophone?
A heliophone, it's actually Ocean Helio. It's a early predecessor to today's smartphones. It has a dual function keyboard, so you can slide the phone in one way and reveal a dial pad with just numerical keys, or you can slide the phone in a different way and reveal a full keyboard, QWERTY keyboard. And it had some multimedia features, had the ability to surf the web, take photographs, record audio, things of that nature.
All right, and did you look at a heliophone in this case?
Yes, Helio Ocean.
And did you actually receive the phone itself?
Yes. I
Does
did
anyone
receive the phone.
remember a
Do you know when you did?
heliophone?
When you received it?
I would have to check my records.
Okay, can you do that?
Sure.
No, never heard of it.
I haven't either. It was 2008.
Can you tell us when you received that heliophone?
I received the Helio phone, the Ocean Helio phone, on June 30th, 2010.
Oh, that's one of those
Okay, when you
weird
received it,
ones.
what'd you do with it?
I secured it in my evidence locker.
Like a sidekick.
And then at a later date,
Yeah.
I processed the phone to extract information.
All right, and what do you mean process the phone? Did you have a protocol that you do?
I do, I would have to refer, I generated several reports. Each report had a
Looks
different
like
objective or
redirect
scope.
worked for a few
Um,
people.
I can speak generally to my protocol and specifically some of the challenges I faced with this phone, or I can pull my reports up and talk to each one.
Let's talk about specifically, did you have any problems with the phone pulling information?
Well, I had some challenges. Generally with cell phone forensics, we like to use forensically established protocols and tools that go along with those protocols. So there are some very popular forensic tools out in the marketplace that will allow us to attach to a cell phone and extract the information in a repeatable, very comprehensive manner. However, prior to these specialized forensic tools showing up in the industry, we used to be left with either using commercial
That's a
available
heliophone.
tools to extract data, or sometimes something as simple as screen captures. And we found that screen captures were court accepted, and so that was always the fallback method. With this specific phone, the Ocean Helio brand, there were no forensic tools, and I just recently checked, and there still are no forensic tools available that can actually attach to the phone and extract the information directly. So I was relegated to having to just take screen captures to capture the information from the phone, with the exception of, I believe, the audio. The audio I actually played on the phone and captured it over an adapter, a wire adapter that's able to plug into the headset that came with the cell phone.
Tell me, well, before we get to the audio, do you know who this phone belonged to?
Ooh,
I
we
believe
get
it
audio.
belonged to Jodi Arias.
Did you get a chance to turn on the phone?
Yes, that was part of my process of extracting the information. I had to turn on the phone.
Is
Okay,
it
so
the
when you turned on the phone, were there
sexy
any photos that came up?
On the
voice
On the
calls?
phone, it had a big screen on the front of the phone, and as soon as you powered on the phone, there was the photograph of Jodi Arias and another,
It goes to ownership.
Overruled.
a photo of Jodi Arias and another young lady.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the audio. Can you explain to me what you mean by you plugged in to get the audio off of the phone?
Yes, typically before I examine a phone, especially one that I'm not familiar with, such as the Ocean Helio, I obtained a copy of the user manual and reviewed the user manual. Typically, the first step is to make sure that I don't change anything on the cell phone. And so I want to make sure I put the cell phone into what's called airplane mode, so it can't send or receive any wireless signals. This helps limit the amount of changes that could occur on the phone. After I did that, I had noted in the manual that I had the ability to record audio or memos, and I did locate a audio recording application on the phone. It's part of the built-in suite of applications that comes with the phone, and I was able to identify approximately 7 or 8 recordings that had been recorded over a period of time. And I was able to play those. What I did was the phone, when I received it, it came with a little headset adapter, not actually a headset, but it had a very small microphone jack or headphone jack on the side of the cell phone. It wouldn't take a normal size headphone jack. So with this adapter, I was able to plug it into the side of the phone and then attach that to a recorder on my computer and play the audio from the phone over that wire and record it onto my computer.
So was it recorded directly onto your computer?
Correct. I did not just play the audio over its internal speaker and then try to pick it up with a microphone. I connected the phone directly from its audio out or headphone jack directly to my computer, and I recorded the audio.
All right. And what did you do with that audio after you recorded it?
I saved it as part of an overall report and provided that the set of audio files along with other recovered items as part of a CD report.
Okay. And then you said you did screen captures?
Yes, that was the only option to capture call logs, messages, photographs, things of that nature.
Okay. And what's a screen
Yes,
capture?
Cindy.
The screen
this
capture is quite
this
simply
witchcraft.
turning on the phone, information is displayed on the phone, could be a photo, could be a call log, and I have a camera that's in a special rig, so to speak, that's suspended over the phone, and I can take photographs of each screen as I page through each screen.
Okay.
It's a laborious process, but
He takes
and is that
pictures
what
of
you
the
did in this
pictures
situation?
on the
Yes.
phone.
Okay. All right.
I put a poll
did
up in my
you also
chat,
look
by
at
the
a
way.
Canon camera?
yes,
Do you know when you did that?
Oh, a side
Awesome.
pigtail today.
Do you need to look?
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember the side pony.
And
Last
that's
time I
new
saw it was
glasses.
Napoleon
I have to
Dynamite.
check another source for the record.
Okay.
That's a new pair of glasses, I think.
Let's go back a second to the Helio.
Okay.
It's
Before
like
you
the
do that.
one
When you were talking
Joe
about
has.
screen captures, the screen captures, did you take screen captures or pictures of the text messages that were on the Helio?
Yes,
All right, Judge, may I approach? 391 and 392, I'm showing you.
okay.
The better.
Do you recognize those as the screen captures?
Yes, on both
From the
channels.
Yes,
Like, subscribe, share if you have social media.
these appear to be from the Heliophone.
Have both
All
our
right.
channels.
And those are just photographs of the actual phone itself.
Yes.
And what are those photographs of? Not the content, but what are those photographs of?
These are photographs of messages that were taken over the phone. So these are the textual portions of the messages.
Okay. All right. And was that something, are these things that you also took off then at the same time that you were dealing with the audio? Was this all part of your examination?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Canon.
Okay, almost there.
Okay.
Which I don't mind looking at whatever he's looking, but if we could just add what he looked at first. I think it was a computer, and then was looking at something else so that the record accurately reflects what he's referring to.
Yes. Judge, what did you look at first?
The first thing I looked at was a calendar I maintained for my activities. When I received the camera, I was actually in another hearing here in court, and I was called down to receive the camera from defense.
Okay.
I came down and received the camera, and then because I did not know I was going to be receiving it, I had no paperwork with me. Normally, I have a item receipt or a chain of custody form with me when I pick up evidence items. In this case, I did not. I received the camera, and that's why I'm having to go back to my digital system, because when I got back to my lab, I checked it into my evidence locker, and for that, I have a digital system, which is not on my computer, but it's on my iPhone. So
Okay.
now I'm checking my digital record back from my office
On your iPhone.
on my iPhone.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready with my answer.
Around 2005 to
I have a record of checking
2009,
it into my evidence
there
locker
were a
on
lot of
January
weird
15th
phones out.
Of what year?
of this year.
Okay.
And I just checked my calendar, and I see that I have my court appearance in the other case on the 15th. And so these coincide, so I believe I received it on January 15th, 2013.
All right. Have you reviewed cameras before in your experience?
Yes,
What, do you have like a standard protocol or what is it that you do when you receive a camera?
yes, I have a standard protocol for reviewing cameras. The first step when I receive a camera is I obtain a copy of the user manual so I can learn about some of the key features of the camera. Specifically, I'd like to know if it has any internal memory. I'd like to know if it has the ability to maintain date and time. Most digital cameras today do. I also want to make sure that, check other features, for example, the ability to take remote photos, if it has a timer built into it, other salient features. Also, I'd like to learn what kind of memory cards does it take and how many. some of the professional cameras, for example, can take 2 different types of memory cards, and sometimes those memory cards are 2 different types of memory cards. So I want to make sure I don't inadvertently overlook something when I examine the camera. Once I receive the evidence item, sometimes it comes in an enclosure or a carrying case. So the protocol is to inspect all the contents of the carrying case, all the pockets, hidden pockets, and so forth, and photograph and document the contents. And then I move on to the camera itself. I take photographs of the camera as well. And then based on the information I got when I reviewed the user guide, I remove the memory cards, set them aside. I take photographs of those as well. And then if I can, I'll power on the camera and note any information that's displayed on the screen, such as date and time. This is often helpful in confirming if the camera is current or not. Unfortunately, many of the criminal cases I work on, I often don't get access to the camera until maybe years after the camera had been seized and had been sitting in an evidence locker. So oftentimes the battery is dead. So if the camera doesn't have internal memory, I usually don't power on the camera to check date and time, because oftentimes the clock and calendar will be reset to factory default anyway. So unless I'm specifically directed or there's discussion for me to do that, I did not. In this case, I noted that this is a professional DSLR, digital single reflex lens camera. It does not have internal memory for storage. And so I did not power on the camera. The camera was dead. The power was dead. And so then I moved my attention to the memory cards. There was one memory card. It's a compact flash 4 GB memory card. I have in my report the photographs and the brand and so forth, but
Jody's thinking to herself, what's a memory card?
4 gig. The compact flash memory card kind of looks like a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, very thin wafer. And I went ahead, I took that memory card and I forensically copied it and then proceeded to analyze it.
Let me ask you, what do you mean by forensically copied it?
So a memory card is very much like a hard drive. So at this point, my standard protocol for handling a memory device is used. So it's treated just like a hard drive. So the first step, of course, is to photograph the item. The second step is to select the appropriate safeguard so I can make a forensic copy of the memory card. And again, the key objective here initially during this stage is to make sure I don't risk changing any information on the memory card. So I have a special device called a write block. In fact, I have many of them, depending on the type of device I'm trying to copy information off of. I have one that's designed for USB devices, and I have a USB read-only adapter for this compact flash type of device. So I took the memory card, and I plugged it into the adapter, and I plugged this adapter into this special write block device. The write block device is made by Tableau. This is the same device that most of my peers use. Law enforcement uses the same device. And it prevents the computer from making any changes to any of the information on the card. So if I was to examine it later or make copies in the future, or law enforcement or another peer, they would come up with the exact same results without any information having been changed. Once I've attached this device, the memory card, to the write block, I then began the process of making a forensic copy using EnCase to preserve the forensic copy. And once the copy has been completed and then verified to be bit for bit exact to what was on the memory card, I can then power down the write block device and then secure the memory.
But how
How
exact
do you
is it?
compare it bit for bit to make sure that they're the same?
Yeah, that
The
would be
EnCase
my
product,
question. My
as
question
others,
too.
have a great built-in feature that once it makes a forensic copy, it compares the forensic copy to the original copy using what's called an MD5 hash value, or message digest version number 5. This is a mathematical algorithm, very much like digital fingerprinting, if you will, that will take a stream of bits that would comprise a file or even an entire memory card, and it puts it through a formula. And the result of the formula is a unique alphanumeric 32 character code. And it's, when I say alphanumeric, it would be made up of numbers and letters. If a single bit was to change between when I copied it and the original, the hash values would not match. And I would get a warning from the system saying errors. And it would tell me the evidence hash value, and it would show me the copy hash value. And this is a standard protocol. It's built into the tool. When I receive hard drives, forensic copies of hard drives and so forth, it's customary. I'll also receive from the police their MD5 hash reports. And this is also one of the things that I do when I receive evidence or I am about to re-examine evidence. For example, I always revalidate the evidence file to make sure nothing has changed, that these hash values are always the same.
Okay. Did you have any problem with hash values with the Canon camera?
No, I did not.
All right. And what were you asked to do with this Canon camera?
I was asked to locate images and produce the images that I can recover from both allocated and unallocated space. Or in other words, images or photographs that you can easily see using the camera or computer, as well as deleted images.
Are the deleted images when you talk about unallocated space?
Correct. Unallocated space and deleted images are the same for our discussion.
Okay. And so were you able to pull photos off of this camera?
Yes.
Did you have an understanding that, did you pick up this camera actually from this courtroom?
Yes.
Is it your understanding that it was seized from Mesa PD?
Objection. You're saying?
Oh God, I was
Not
talking,
for an expert.
or I was talking and it was muted.
Okay. All right, is exhibit number 364, is that what you picked up?
Yes.
Okay,
This is the
tell-
shopping bag.
All right, I'm sorry I interrupted you. What is it?
This is the shopping bag I picked up.
Okay.
Inside is the camera case. And inside the camera case is a Canon DSLR.
Okay, and how is it that you know that it was something that was seized by Mesa Police Department?
Well, there are markings on the bag. It's printed here. It's in the upper right-hand corner of the bag. It's been formally printed. It says Mesa Police Department Property and Evidence Package. And then there are other formal markings here regarding case, item, date of impound, and so forth. At the bottom, the note says evidence is circled, as what this pertains to. And then there are additional markings on the bag. Certainly there's this evidence, this exhibit number, 364 is attached to it, as well as there's a barcode system that's attached to it, identifying it as a digital camera. And it also has a unique property ID and case reference number attached to it. The bag itself, sorry about the noise. The bag itself, you may notice,
The
has,
only witness to
hand
ever
notes
apologize.
that appear to be signatures and dates. And I know from my experience, having worked with Mesa Police Department before and received evidence, it's a common practice that when they open an evidence bag, whether it's actually a shopping bag or maybe something a little smaller, the person opening it and responsible for it will typically sign their name on it and put the date of when they access that evidence item. I've participated in that process with them many times. And so I see that there are numerous markings around the bag. I don't recognize the signatures, but I'm sure we might be able to figure out who had access.
Okay. And
Hello,
on the front of the bag,
Christine.
does it have any information of when it was originally seized?
It has a date of impounding, which is actually different than necessarily seizing, I believe. Impounding is when it's secured into their evidence locker.
What's that date?
It's covered by the, can I remove the exhibit tag?
Judge Mankey?
Okay, thank you. Okay, date of impound is July 21st, 2008.
Okay, thank you. All right. And is it your understanding that this camera belonged to Ms. Arias?
That is my understanding, yes.
All right. Judge, at this point, defense moves to introduce exhibit number 364 into evidence. 364 is admitted. Okay. Do you want me to take that back?
Can I just say something that's funny? So in Hollywood, they actually make bags that don't make noise because you can't have them in the pick up in the mics, right?
Mhm.
So they already make bags like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why police don't use them.
I can, yeah.
All right, Mr. Rivers, you also, you talked about there being a memory card that was associated with this Canon camera.
Yes,
All right. Were you able to pull photos off of that memory card?
yes.
You talked about allocated is unallocated is deleted.
Yes, we can just refer to it as active files and deleted files.
Okay. So out of those photos, could you approach? I'm showing you what's been marked for exhibits 413, 415, 413, 14, 15, and 417.
More photos of
Do
Jodi.
you recognize those photos as being pulled from the Canon?
Yes, I recognize these.
And can you turn the photo over? There's some information on the back of each photo.
Yeah,
Is that EXIF information?
Judge, if you could at least hold them down so that the jury can see them or something.
Is that EXIF information?
no, this information appears to be file system information.
Oh, okay. Can you
The
look at that?
difference is file information, the camera itself, when it takes a photograph, a digital camera takes a photograph, it embeds information into the photograph itself about the cameras and the camera settings so that we can look at the digital file that's built into the photograph using the appropriate tools. For example, if you use Photoshop, it's a very popular product, or in the Windows operating system or in the Macintosh operating system. You can ask about properties of a photo. Oftentimes, it'll show you at least the basic exchange information, or what we call EXIF information. That information would include things such as make and model of the camera, date and time the picture was taken and digitized and saved. It would also contain possibly information about camera settings, focal length, shutter speed, aperture.
This
And in some
witness
of the cameras
is
that have built-in
named
GPS or
Lonnie
positioning
Dworken.
capabilities,
I'll
it might
write
actually
it down.
include the location the photograph was taken.
Defense digital tech.
File system data is a little bit different. File system data has to do with managing the photograph on the actual memory card or hard drive for that matter. It captures the date and time the photograph was saved or moved or copied to its current location, and salient information as well. Oftentimes on a camera memory card, the file system create date, for example, will be the same as a digitized date that's captured as part of the EXIF information. This information talks about file create and last written information. And so this would indicate to me that this is file system information. It's not saying date digitized, things of that nature, which would lead me to believe it would be EXIF information.
Okay, can you flip through on, and tell us, can you look at exhibit number 413? And be careful not to pull the photo out.
Yes.
Could you move your microphone back, the long one? Yes, move it back a little bit. Thank you.
All right, so 413, does that have file system information on it?
Yes.
All right, and can you look at 414? Does that have file system information?
No.
What does that, oh, does that have a blank piece of paper also stapled to the back? One of them does. In between the exhibit number and the photo itself?
There's nothing on here.
Touch me approach.
You may.
Thank you.
So does 414 have file system information on it?
Yes.
All right, and what about 415?
Yes.
And 417?
Yes.
All right,
Let me revise that last response.
sure.
417 actually has EXIF information on it, not file system information. Well, it has both, actually. It has file system information and EXIF information.
Okay. And the EXIF information just provides us more information than the file system?
It may provide the same, well, it provides different information. Oftentimes, the basic information is the same.
Okay.
So with 417, I recognize this format, the way the information is presented. This is typical from an EnCase extraction. And I see that we have file system information included along with the EXIF information.
All right. And with regard to these photographs, 413, 414, 415, and 417, are these all photos that you recognize that you took off of the Canon camera, the
These are-
external drive, I mean?
These all appear to be images I recall seeing on the
That was
memory
weird.
card I had removed from that Canon camera.
And our defense would move in exhibits 413, 414, 415, and 417.
They haven't provided me a copy, and I haven't seen them in court, so perhaps.
Yes.
Actually,
I just added those, so they should be there. By the way, I don't know if was there a break at all in the stream.
Not that I recall.
Okay, because my computer did something weird, and then it just picked up kind of where it should have been. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to back up. But yeah, no, I did notice that there were some days missing in my stream, but I believe, or my playlist, but I believe they're all back there now. Okay.
In my playlist, I have both day 9 and day 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe if YouTube deemed them as 18 plus, they don't show up at normal search.
Well, I put them in my playlist. I do know that I was missing a couple of days in my playlist. I just went through it this morning to make sure everything was up to date, and I noticed a few were missing. So
Yeah. No, I have day 9 and day 10 here.
okay.
a copy. Boom.
Why don't you show the actual exhibits to Mr. Martinez?
Suggestion relevance as to all of them, and objection as to relevance and hearsay as to exhibit 417.
You may approach. The jury is not present. The objection.
Judge, with regard to exhibit number 414, it's a picture of the defendant with a black dog. The state fails to see how that is relevant. I understand that there may be some information as to when this was taken, although I don't see it has some information as to when the file was created and the date that these were created. Again, without the defendant herself taking a stand and providing why this is relevant, the state would object. Additionally, the fact that she's with this what appears to be very cute black dog, I think that under 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3 analysis, it would be unduly prejudicial. Again, we're here on a murder case, and the fact that they're presenting her hugging a dog is irrelevant. Then there's exhibit number 415. It shows the defendant with another individual, a female, wearing a yellow top, and it does have some information on it. Again, this was about the same time, but it shows the defendant smiling, and it shows this other person smiling. Again, this is irrelevant, again, until the defendant takes a stand. Under 401, 402, and 403, it's also unduly prejudicial. It shows her as a happy-go-lucky kind of person, and I don't see how that's relevant to the killing. There's a picture, exhibit number 413, of the defendant with another female who has colored her hair red. They both are smiling. Again, it has some information in the back, but the fact that they're smiling and they have a red background, there is no relevance that has been shown at this time. Again, we can't forget that we're here on a murder case, not to show that the defendant was happy with this other young female, whoever that may be. Exhibit 417 is a top
Ability
that
or
says
disposition
Travis
is relevant.
It's kind of like a sweat top color. And then there's some pink underwear that says Travis's apostrophe S. We know that these photographs were taken by someone who laid these items out on the bed. And it appears that they were taken on July 12th, or it says date and time of original, July 12th, it's saying, of 2008, and then it says date and time digitized, July 12th of 2008. These were taken after the victim after the defendant killed the victim. So again, the date is problematic in terms of relevance. These were created afterwards. It appears that she did this sort of as an homage to the victim shortly before she was arrested. So unless there's that sort of foundation as to when these were created, the items here, also, it's irrelevant that the defendant may have chosen to take photographs of some underwear and a top that maybe she put together sometime after he was killed.
Ms. Wilmot?
Judge, with regard to exhibits 413, 414, and 415, these are all photos of Miss Arias that are taken that show very clear pictures of the color of her hair. These photos were all taken, let's see, let me be specific. Exhibit number 414, the information of when this photo was taken was on May 15th of 2008. Exhibit number 415, the information is that it was taken on May 17th of 2008. And exhibit number 413, the information is that it was created on May 10th of 2008. The relevance of these photos has been based on what the state's case presented, the fact that she supposedly had blonde hair when she went to go rent a car on June 2nd of 2008, and then magically had brown hair when she was taken, when Travis took photos of her on his bed on June 4th, somehow implying that she was maybe trying to do something incognito. In reality, Judge, her hair had been brown for quite some months, and specifically in exhibit number 414, you can see with the cute dog, you can see the fact that she has blonde streaks in her hair in the front, which maybe might lead someone to believe that she had blonde hair, but you can also see the back of her hair, which is brown. In the other photos, you can see that she clearly has brown hair with some blonde highlights in them. They're all dated to a time of May, which is mainly that, so the photos go to show the relevance that she had brown hair prior to renting a car, just like she had brown hair on June 4th. With regard to exhibit number 417, it's a photo of the t-shirt that says Travis Alexander's in the possessive form, and then underwear that says Travis's in the possessive form. The relevance of this, Judge, is the fact that this will be relied on by our experts when they're discussing how Travis treated Jodi and what type of relationship they have, the possessiveness of this relationship, the controlling nature of this relationship. These photos just go to demonstrate that and what that does to a woman in particular with a battered women's defense and self-defense. And that's why
this is quite good impeachment against some of the prosecution's witnesses.
State's duty is to seek
Right.
justice and not a conviction. Therefore, their prejudice is not the same as when we talk about overly prejudice to the defense. So none of these things are overly prejudiced to the state. None of them. In fact, it's the state who put them into play when the state claims that she had blonde hair on June 3rd.
Anything else from the state?
I think they were insinuating that she had changed the color of her hair to brown so that she wouldn't be easily recognizable by anyone else. Everyone knew her as a blonde, right?
Mm.
So
The testimony was from the individual that she had blonde hair. The fact that her hair on the 15th, 17th, or the 10th may have been brown doesn't mean she didn't dye it some color before she went to meet Mr. Alexander and then dyed it afterwards. To me, again, that's still not relevant. And the one with the dog, it's so unduly prejudicial.
That's a good question. What color was her hair in those
They're just
photos?
unduly prejudicial, and I would ask that
Pulling up
Yeah.
my Discord.
they not be admitted.
By the way,
At
if you guys
start,
want access to Jodi's, all of her parts, they're in my Discord, which you get access to if you want to become a member. I'm going to pull it up. I just want to know what color her hair is.
And if you become a member on my channel, I don't have those on my Discord. So become a member on both of us.
Oh, she is brown. She's got brown hair in those nudie photos. So,
Oh,
so it is relevant because she
Yeah,
was
it is.
blonde every other time.
yeah, that's interesting.
It provides
So
Right.
so the prosecutions. Well, she could have dyed it. Well, that is your. You have to prove that, prosecutor. But you arrested.
Right.
So of course you want to exclude these photos.
stand and provide some other reasoning. Of course, we can revisit it at that time.
All right, the objections overruled. Exhibits 413, 14, 15, and 417 will be admitted.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring the jury back in. Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Exhibits 413, 414, 415, and 417 are admitted. You may continue.
Thank you, Judge. All right, Mr. Dworkin, I'm showing you what's been admitted I'll show you in a second. What's been admitted as exhibit number 413. Okay. All right. You see exhibit 413 on your screen?
Yes.
And as far as you can tell, is this a picture? Is one of the women in the picture, is that Jodi Arias?
Yes.
All right. And I'm going to flip to the back side of this exhibit. All right. Is that the
You're
file
going
information
to
you were
flip
talking
Jodi
about?
to her
Yes.
backside?
Can you tell us what that tells? What does that say? What does it tell us?
That tells us that the 238, if this was taken from my in-case report, the 238 would tell me that this was file number 238 that was identified by the in-case forensic report. The file name is img_0720.jpg. It says is deleted. There's actually no note after is deleted, so it doesn't mean this file was actually deleted. If this file was deleted, I would expect to see a little dot or date next to is deleted. So this is just a placeholder to indicate that if it was deleted, we'd see a date there, possibly. Date, last access means the last time the file was accessed by the operating system, or the file system, I should say. In this case, it's 5/10/2008. We have a file create date, the date the file arrived in its current location on the file system. We have a last written date of 5/10/2008, which also coincides with the file create date and the last access date.
What does last written mean?
It means the last time the file was updated in the file system. There's a number of fields that could be updated in the file system, and this reflects the last time that an update regarding this file has occurred.
Okay, so in general layman terms, does that mean that this photo was taken on May 10th, 2008? Can you say that?
Well, knowing that this came from the compact flash memory card, knowing that we have the last access date, file, and last written dates all match, it appears that the file had arrived on the memory card on 5/10/2008. If we had EXIF data, I could confirm it was actually taken on this date, but absence of that, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that it was taken on the date. It is possible it could have been added, but we have a sequence of images. I'm sure that if we were to look at the full report, we would see this in the line with other images and sequential numbering of dates. So there's ways to verify it.
Okay, so in other words, do we know that what you say, this file arrived on the flash drive on May 10th, 2008?
Right. Well, remember,
Okay.
a flash card, a flash memory device is very much like a hard drive and respects the same file system attributes. So if a file is moved or copied to the memory card via a adapter from a computer, it would have a create last access date. Also, if the camera takes a picture and creates the image on the memory card, it too will have the same information. So generally, you don't see people saving images to memory cards and cameras. Generally, they're removed. And that's why I always like to look at the EXIF data, because that's actually built into the file itself. And although it can be manipulated, generally it's not. And that just serves as additional confirmation as to the digitized date and time.
Okay, and in this photograph, can you tell us what color Miss Arias' hair is? Well, because it speaks for itself, I think that he can.
Lack of
Hold on,
foundation.
give me an answer.
Her hair appears to be brown.
Okay. And I'm showing you exhibit number 414.
This would have been more effective if they
All
had
right, and is
impeached
this a photo of Miss Arias?
Yes.
the renter.
And let's look to the back. This is some more files.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Now, this would have been more effective if they actually impeached the rental guy who said she was blonde.
Did they ask that?
I don't think so.
That should have been a question that they asked if they were prepared to go with this.
Yeah,
I kind of want to go back and look at it. I'll do that later.
yeah.
System information. Does that tell us that this file was arrived on the flash card, right? Flash card?
Yes,
Okay, flash card on May 15th of 2008.
correct.
All right. And in this photograph, can you see, I'm not sure on your screen or maybe behind you, do you see the color of her hair?
Yes,
Does it have two different colors?
Objection leading. Overruled.
yes.
Okay. And in the front, what color does it appear to you?
It appears to be a blondish color,
And in the back?
a brownish color.
All right.
She's transitioning.
All right, I'm showing you exhibit number 415. Is that a picture of Miss Arias?
You get the
Yes.
cat.
Okay, and we'll flip it around. When did this file arrive on the flash card?
5/17/2008.
Okay,
Hey, John Johnson. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm
all right.
dreading.
And I'm showing you exhibit number
Afternoon
417.
I'm 3 shots behind already on the
Now, this
afternoon
photo does
session.
not have a picture of Miss Arias in it, is that right?
That is correct.
Look at those sexy
Can you tell what's
panties.
in this photograph?
It appears to be a pair
Granny
of
panties.
women's panties, pink in color, and a gray t-shirt.
How do we know Travis didn't wear
Sorry,
those?
go ahead.
The gray t-shirt has Travis Alexander's with a possessive, as a possessive statement. And then we have Travis's with a possessive statement also on the panties.
All right, and let's turn this over. Now, is this looks more extensive. Is this what you refer to as EXIF data?
Yes.
Okay,
The more specifically, the first 9 lines, starting from the number 943, comma.
yes?
And if we count down 9 lines down to where, just before it says make canon, between that, the first line and the 9th line, that's typically information I would get from the file or the file system.
Okay,
For example, we have an example of hash value. That's something that's calculated by my.
There's no
computer
controlling the cat.
software. That's actually not in the file system, but that information generally comes from the file system. Everything from make canon, model canon on down is EXIF information is actually extracted from within the photograph itself.
all right. And so because we have the more detailed EXIF information, can you tell us when this photo was actually taken for sure?
I can tell you what information is here to indicate when it was taken. We
Okay.
have about 3/4 of the way down. Is this work? Oh, yeah. Oops.
Yeah, you can use that screen.
So right here, sorry about that mess. We have date time digitized. That's when the image is taken and then saved to the memory card. So here we have 2008, we have July 12th, and we have a time of 10/25/15. So this is when it was taken by the camera and then saved to the memory card. That's why we have a digitized date and we have an original date.
All right. And then if you look up at the top,
Seems to be working.
what we were looking at before, the file created and last written.
Yes, we have the same date and time. They're off about a second, which is reasonable because there can be a bit of a lag time, especially with digital cameras, from when the photo is taken and buffered. It means temporarily stored until it's actually saved to the memory card. So within a second, that's certainly reasonable.
Okay, so within a
It's not
second,
my cat.
this photograph was taken and then arrived at the flash card within a second.
Correct. This all happens automatically from when the user pushes the button to take the picture.
I have
and
a
the rest of the
farm,
process is
so
automatic.
it's a working cat that I
Okay,
have.
thank you very much, Mr. Dorothy.
Is that it?
Huh.
I thought they were going to play the audio. Oh, no, she's still up there. Oh, no.
Sir, on Thursday, when we left off, we were talking about a number of computers. The first one that you talked about was this computer that belonged to Travis Alexander, or you gave the indication that that was Travis Alexander's, correct?
Yes,
That was the Presario Compact or something like that?
I believe so. I can check my notes.
That's okay.
I like Jodi in the corner.
And with regard to that particular computer, that wasn't damaged at all, was it?
No, it was not.
And then you talked about another item that was damaged though, right?
Yes,
And they are separate and distinct items, aren't they?
that's true.
And just for the sake of this inquiry here, the victim's computer, there was no damage to it, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, you examined it, right?
I didn't examine the physical computer. I was only provided forensic copies of the hard drives, of all of the computers.
Any indication in the hard drives that there were any damage to it?
No, the police were fairly diligent for Mesa in noting when they had issues making forensic copies, also making notes if the particular evidence item was not operable or they had issues. And so there were no comments regarding either of those evidence items.
And with regard to Exhibit 419, that's a bit of a history of that computer, the victim's computer, back on June 4th of 2008, right?
Yes, internet history.
And you talked a little bit about this, right?
Yes,
And you needed it to refresh your recollection back then as to what was going on with this computer, where the user was going, that sort of thing, right? And this was the victim's computer, right?
yes.
I move for the admission of Exhibit 419.
Any objection?
Objection.
Is admitted.
So if we take a look at this, Exhibit 419, let's start at the top. And this is the one that you also told me had the name, or told us that it had the name of Deanna Reed, correct?
Yes,
But it also had the name of Travis Alexander associated with it, right?
correct.
And what we're looking at here is that somebody, the first entry there, somebody is going on YouTube, correct?
Correct.
And we know that from the first line, right?
Yes, we see that we have youtube.com and we have the note watch with a question mark, which is a typical notation when someone's going to watch a video and you can actually trace back the video.
Right. And what they were looking for was this Daft Bodies, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, right?
Correct, that was the title.
And Daft Bodies is a rock group, right?
That I don't know.
Well, don't you think that you should have gone on? Because this sort of seems a little bit salacious, doesn't it? That looks like it may be porn, doesn't it?
It potentially may or may not be.
Right. But if I told you that Daft Bodies was nothing more than a rock group, would you disagree with me?
Objection, speculation, knowledge.
Overruled, you may answer.
Can you ask the question again?
Would you disagree with me if I told you that Daft Bodies was a rock group?
I have no way of agreeing or disagreeing because I have no knowledge of it.
Okay, so you wouldn't disagree with me then.
I wouldn't.
Ah, yes, the
And
Daft
Harder,
Punk.
Better, Faster, Stronger, do you know that that's the name of a song that this group has?
Again, I have no knowledge.
So last week when we were watching the direct examination of this guy, he was talking about searches that Travis did, trying to implicate that he was like violent and an angry person. And some of the searches were draft. What just happened?
I don't
You guys got me? That was weird. Some of the
Of this.
searches were of music essentially,
Hmm.
and so that's what he's being cross-examined on. My computer's being weird right now. I don't know what's up.
Particular video or group or
Well, you know this. You know what the issues in this case were, right?
He had a cat.
Yes.
In terms of the broken hard drive, the mirror image, you looked for things there, right? You knew what you were looking for there, right?
well, I understand that someone was murdered, but beyond that, I'm not sure I follow.
Well, you picked certain photographs from the other hard drive that was broken, didn't you?
No, I provide defense.
Did you print out
Reports.
those? Did you print out those photographs? Yes or no?
I provided a full
Objection,
report.
speculation, and knowledge as to which photographs that the state's discussing.
Sustained.
With regard to the photographs that we were talking about Thursday, did you print those photographs? Yes or no?
No, I did not print those photographs.
So you could have gone to YouTube to check on this Daft Bodies, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, couldn't you?
I could have, yes.
Now, then we have underneath that history of it, right? And this is, the history of this was on June 4th, 2008, at 4:08 in the morning, right?
Correct.
And with regard to that, this talks about, again, the same thing. You see YouTube, drunk, Daft Punk, Harder, Bodies, Faster, Stronger, drunk, right?
Correct.
If I told you that that was nothing more than three people dancing around, acting drunk to this particular song with something on their head, would you have any way of disputing that?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled, you may answer yes or no.
At this point, no.
Judge, may we approach?
You may. Continue.
Yeah, she lost
And-
that. Even if the witness was
Continue on.
good, he is destroying
We
it.
then have one at 4:11. It's, you see, it's the same.
Yeah, this is a good cross.
thing.
Mm.
Daft hands, harder, better.
What happened?
I don't know.
It is because again, like the others, I've not actually made an effort to look at what the content was. Again, these are just a few of thousands of entries, over almost 100,000 entries. So there's no way I can select specific ones and be knowledgeable about all 100,000.
I understand that you can't be knowledgeable over 100,000, but with regard to exhibit number 419, that's not 100,000, is it?
You are correct.
These are very specific entries, right?
Yes.
And you were asked about them on Thursday, right?
For the first time, yes.
You were asked about them Thursday, yes or no, sir?
Yes.
And with regard to saying asked about them the first time, is there any prohibition that you know of that prevents defense counsel from asking you something before you come to court?
Objection, Your Honor, relevant. Improper.
Is there?
No.
So if we then take a look at the entry at the top, we're again talking about this. The time is June 4th, 2008 at 4:15 in the morning, right?
Correct.
And it's again the same YouTube, deft hands, double speed, faster, better. Do you have any way of knowing whether or not that's just the video speeded up?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
In other words, would they be that the people that are in the video are moving faster than the previous video?
Objection, Judge, same objection as before. This specificity.
He doesn't know.
Overruled, you mean?
I'm not sure I understand the nature of the question.
In other words, in terms of this particular entry here, when it talks about faster, better, double speed, you don't know what double speed means, do you?
I don't know what anything about this video contains,
Right.
and I can't determine it based just merely on the title, because I know from my experience.
So the answer is you don't know, correct?
That is correct.
But this is a report that you provided, correct?
Yes.
And you created this report, correct?
Yes, I did.
And that involves a computer that we've been calling the victim's computer, correct?
Correct.
With regard to that computer, did you check to see whether or not there were any images at all of women's breasts in the victim's computer?
Not specifically. No, I didn't. No, I did not.
Generally, did you do that?
No, not generally.
Did you even look to see if there were any photographs of any women's breasts on it?
Not specifically, no.
As you sit here today, can you tell us that there were any images of women's breasts in that computer?
No speculation, he just said he didn't look for him.
Overruled, you mean answer.
I don't have that knowledge because
That
I
got
wasn't
quiet.
asked to do
I
that.
don't know what's going
Right, but
on.
the bottom line is, as you sit here, you can't tell us that there is because you didn't look, right?
Correct.
And you can't tell us that there are any images whatsoever of any nude women, whether it's breast or otherwise, right?
Not without reviewing my notes. I would have to review my notes. If you'd like, I could.
You're not telling me that this may be in your notes, and before you told me that you didn't review the data, which one is it?
When I'm asked to provide,
Yeah.
Sir, my answer is which one is it? Not a long answer, if you don't mind.
can
Which one is
you,
it?
which one, can you re-ask the question?
Sure. Is it that?
Legal Voices
in
just
this
joined
computer for
my stream.
any news?
Thank you,
Or
Jeff.
is it that there
In a few minutes, we are going back to the trial of Austin Ford, or the retrial of Austin Ford. So you will be redirected again in a few minutes.
Yes.
So hi everybody. Hi Vice
Well-
Squad.
Welcome, guys. Just so you know, we are dual streaming. This is the Jodi Arias trial every Tuesday and Saturday at noon Eastern, 6 p.m. Swedish time. Nick and I are doing a rewatch of the Jodi Arias trial. This is day 13. This is the defense's case in chief. The witness on the stand is currently the defense's digital tech witness, who attempted to go through Travis's, the victim's computer, and say because he was looking at some Daft Punk music, that meant that he was violent. So that's fun, and he's being cross-examined by this right now. Hey, welcome, Vodka Blood, and everyone
Yeah.
else, Digger
Yeah.
and Miss K Grift, everyone.
Hey everybody. And so in a few minutes, I will start up the afternoon stream of the Austin Ford. So I will go out and prepare for that, and David will continue for a few more minutes.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, we'll keep going.
Yeah. So David will keep going, and then everybody will be redirected again.
There weren't any.
Okay. See you in a bit.
I
All right,
recall
take
there
care.
was some pornography on the computer. I don't recall if they were specifically just women's breasts or if there was a.
Oh my
more
God, there's
of that
pornography
or
on
a
this
different
computer.
nature of
Do you
pornography.
remember that we had an interview about this issue, that we discussed it?
I remember we did have an interview a couple of years ago, yes.
And isn't it true that at that time you told me that there was no pornography?
If I said that at that time, then I would stand by that statement. I just don't have the specific knowledge at this time.
All right. So you don't have any knowledge at all at this time, is what you're trying to tell me?
Correct.
This witness didn't even know that it was
The
a
hard
band
drive,
or music. He just read the
The one that
title
was
of the
broken.
video.
Right, now I want to talk about that. That one you linked up to the defendant, Jodi Arias, correct?
Yes.
So when we talk about that, let's talk about that as the defendant's hard drive. With regard to that, you said it was damaged, right?
Yes.
You don't know who damaged it, right?
Correct.
You don't know if it was the defendant who damaged it, right?
I don't know who damaged it.
And you don't know what kind of damage it sustained, right?
Correct.
And you don't know, do you know that it was seized up in Wairika, or do you even know, does your records reflect any of that? You know where it was taken from by the police. You said you reviewed the report. Isn't it true that that was seized by the police in Wairika?
It's possible it's in the notes. It's been so many years since I reviewed it. I
Do
don't
you have those
recall.
notes with you?
I do not have the police notes with me. I do know that it was seized at some point by Mesa Police Department.
The prosecutor, he's just an angry little
About
elf.
not being able to make a forensic copy of it at the time.
Right.
And then at a later date, they were able to provide a forensic copy of
You
what
have to
was.
prove yourself
what they were able to
first,
have recovered.
sir.
And they provided you a report first of what they were able to recover, correct?
I never received a police report from what they were able to recover.
You weren't shown a copy of their forensic report?
I don't believe so. I believe I just received a NCASE copy or forensic copy of the recovered sectors.
We keep talking about mirror image, that, and then we're talking about an NCASE report. What you received, was that a mirror image of what was on that hard drive, or was it something else?
It was a copy from the Mesa Police Department of what they were able to copy from that hard drive. It was an exact copy or forensic copy.
So
Hey, Valhalla.
just so that we're clear, because it appears that there's some terms going on, NCASE, what does that have to do with the mirror image that you received? Let me ask, aren't they the same thing, or are they different?
NCASE is just a tool that has multiple functions. One of the functions is it has the ability to make a forensic copy. We refer to the forensic copy as an E01 or E01 copy.
I didn't know.
What I received from the police department was the E01 or NCASE copy they produced using NCASE.
So it was something that NCASE was used to generate what was given to you, right?
Correct.
And then when you went to look at it, you also used NCASE, correct?
Correct.
And then you were able to view whatever the images were that were on it, right?
Yes.
Then some of the images that you were able to access, for example, one of them is 417. Do you see this one?
Objection. Are we still talking about the hard drive?
No, we're not. You also, sir, in terms of seizing items, the broken one, the defendant's, that produced some photographs, right?
I was able to recover photographs from them.
We then have the camera that we've been talking about, the Canon camera, right?
Yes.
And that Canon camera also belonged to the defendant, right?
I believe so, yes.
So of all the three things that we
Hey,
had,
Kaiser.
the first one was the victims, right?
If you guys don't remember this case at all, that's Jodi Arias right there. She killed, or allegedly killed, stabbed and shot her on again, off again boyfriend, Travis. And she took pictures of it while she was doing it accidentally, and then tried to destroy the camera by washing it in a washing machine, which obviously didn't work. So they're talking a lot about the camera that he's referring to right there is the one that she actually took pictures of. She also took a lot of pictures of herself, and you see all of Jodi Arias, and that was broadcast on live television. And so we have those. Those were broadcast on our restream as well. But if you want more of an in-depth examination, you could join me over on my Discord. You just need to be a member. But this is this case. So there was a lot of, and they were both, well, he was a Mormon. She converted. They found a loophole, right? A loophole to get past some of the restrictions. It was a sensational case for a lot of reasons.
I'm confused. The first one, what?
The compact presario that we talked about, that was the victims, right?
Yes.
The other two items belong to the defendant, right?
The broken hard drive and the camera.
All right. And with regard to the Canon camera, there are some photographs that were taken, and this is one of them, right?
Yes.
And this one says Travis Alexander's, the possessive, on the shirt, right?
Correct.
And then it says Travis's on the shorts, right?
Correct.
They looked a little bit posed there, don't they?
Yes.
And do you know the occasion or the reason why they're posed in that fashion?
Objection, speculation.
Over, or do you answer yes or no?
I don't know the context in which this photo was taken.
And do you even know who took it?
I do not.
There's something here in the corner. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
There's also something on the right corner. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
But we do know with regard to this one, which is Exhibit
Her
417.
granny panties. They're so gross. These things are huge,
that
right?
if the data is correct, it was taken on July 12th of 2008, right?
Yes.
And July 12th of 2008 is after June 4th of 2008, right?
Yes.
And you do not know how these were created. In other words, you don't know who, for example, put Travis Alexander on that shirt, right?
Correct.
And Travis's, you don't know who did that, right?
Correct.
And again, with regard to this particular date of July 12th of 2008, we do know that July 15th of 2008 comes after this particular date of July 12th of 2008, right? Sir, You're really not an expert on hair, are you?
I've been asked for my opinion.
Yeah. So the argument is that Jodi did it. Her argument, the defense's argument, is that she did it in self-defense, and that Travis was extremely abusive towards her and things like that. And one of the examples of the abuse is that he made her wear a t-shirt and underwear that indicated she was Travis's property. So he treated her like she was property. That's their defense. That's what they're going with. We'll see if it works.
Body features, including hair,
Okay.
but as a advertised expert on hair specifically, no.
So with regard to exhibit number 413, when you were asked about hair color and that sort of thing, were you just giving us the same opinion that anybody in this courtroom would have given us?
Yes. Yes.
Nope.
So it's not that you're any better or any worse than people here, right?
Probably not.
And with regard to this particular color of hair, do you know whether or not the day before this person on the right had that hair color? Do you know when that color was put on there?
There's no way I could know.
There's no way anybody could know that, right?
I don't believe so.
With regard to exhibit number 414, what's the name of the dog?
I do not know.
All right. Nicholas is ready. So when I find a good spot to jump off of this, by the way, so Tuesdays are shorter days for Jodi. Saturdays are the longer days. We have a lot more of this day of trial, which is day 13. But when we find a good spot to break, I'll throw you guys all back to Nick for the continuation of his trial, which is quite interesting. It's a best friend murder kind of case, but they really don't have much of a case.
And exhibit number 415, any idea who this person is?
I do not know.
Any idea why the occasion was that this was taken?
I do not.
And in terms of the hair, do you know when this hair color was applied to the defendant?
No, I don't.
If we then take a look at this one, it's exhibit 414. It does seem that whatever hair color is there, it's throughout. In other words, it's not showing any roots, right?
Objection, speculation.
This particular angle is a little difficult to make that determination only because it's just one sample photograph. I'd like to see additional photographs or see if there are other additional photographs with it.
I'm asking you about this photograph, and I'm asking you to focus right here on the forehead. You see any different colored roots there?
I can make that.
Objection, Judge, speculation as to what the color of the hair is without dye. It might be the same color, therefore there would be no roots.
Council approach.
Okay, I'm going to end it here since we're doing a sidebar. Thank you all for watching the Jodi Arias trial, day 13, part 1. When I end the stream, we're going to send you guys right back to Nick, where he'll continue the case out of Georgia, the best friend murder trial. This is a retrial because the first one ended in a hung jury, and I don't think they're going to have much more evidence. So thank you all for joining. Come back here again, hit that like button, subscribe. If you want to see more of this case, you can join the my membership and get access to the Discord. And we will see you all over at Nick's.
The State of Arizona versus Jodia and Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder.